Hello everyone. In today's session, we will be discussing a concept called views in database management system. What exactly these views are? These are virtual tables in your database management system. What do you mean by virtual tables? These are the tables which are not stored in the memory, right? Which are not stored in the memory. Then what do you mean by this? Not stored in the memory means these virtual tables basically are stored as a compressed information of the results of the queries, right? In place of information, the queries are stored in your virtual table. So whenever you are accessing the information from the views, the queries are executed and their results are in turn presented as views to the users in your database management system. Hence, thereby using virtual tables is not an overhead because it does not incur any extra resources in terms of storage. Okay, so this should be very clear in your mind that how a virtual table differs from your normal table, or we also call them as source tables. Okay, the views appear to be or look similar to tables, but the information that is available in views is not stored information. Okay, rather what is stored? The queries are stored. So whenever you are executing a view to display certain information, in turn, the queries that are stored will be executed and their results will be shown to the user as the output. Fine. Now, let us see how the views are created. To create a view, first thing you need to have source tables, right? It could be a single table or it could be multiple tables from which information can be retrieved and put as a view. Or views can also be created from other existing views, right? So the tables from which the views are created need not be the stored tables, right? It could be the other views also, right? So how do I create a view? Again, to create the view, we use a create view statement, right? Like we use create data definition language command for creating the table. Similarly, we use the same create command, but in place of table, it is going to be the other keyword that is called view, right? Create view is going to be used for creating the views. Now, how do I do this? Right? So let us see the general syntax for creating the view. Right? So it is create view, which are the keywords. Then I give my view name. This can be any user defined name. View name as is a keyword. Okay? And then comes your select query, right? Whatever information you want to display based on certain conditions, that query can be designed. You already know how do you display or extract information from the table using select. So any such complex select statement can act as a query over here to display the information, and that in turn will be stored as a view and will later be displayed whenever this particular view by this name is executed, right? So the next, before we actually go and check practically the information how the views are to be created on MySQL, let us also see what are the restrictions that are imposed when you are creating the views, right? So the first restriction, that is whenever you are creating the view in your select statement, you should avoid using distinct you should avoid using distinct keyword. Second, it is always preferred, or most of the time it is preferred to use single source table, right? So if you are creating views using multiple tables, then whenever you are performing operations on views, that would have more complexities involved. So if you do not want that to happen, so it's always prefer to have a single source table so that updatable views can be created. Okay. And whenever you are having a select query designed to create a view, make sure that there are no subqueries, right? You should not have the nested queries here, right? So these nested queries will create issues when you are working with your views, right? Hence, these are put as standard rules that these should not be considered whenever you are creating your views. Also, whenever you are creating views, this particular select statement must not include group by and having clause. Right, if you keep these things in mind and then go for creating your views, then probably you will not be facing any problems, rather you will end up having the proper views created for you. Okay, so the next, let us now explore how to execute the creation of views and then working with views. Okay, so let me just create a database first. View test, okay, by this name. So it is created, let me use that. View test, I'm going to use this. Then I need to create the source tables first from which I can create my views, correct? So how do I create the tables here? Create table, say employee, with SSN, which is of varchar type, say 20 size. Let it be primary key. Okay, let it be primary key. Then let the employee have his name called ename attribute of varchar type of 25. Let him also have age, which is of integer type with a check constraint imposed on it that age should always be greater than or equal to 21 for working, right? And then let us also have a salary, right, which is again integer type, and it has to be not null. So for further details of how constraints are employed, right, or if your tables are already created and how to go about for adding constraints, you can watch my another video on alter command statements or schema change statement. Okay, so now the table is created. Let me just describe the table here. It says employee. So these are the things that are being added over here as per the requirement. Let me just quickly insert certain values into it. So insert into EMP values. So I'll have to first give his USN, which is of varchar type. I give it an quote mark. Then name. Then I have his age, which has to be necessarily greater than 21. So I give it as 23, and supposedly he has a salary of 50,000. Okay. So the query executed successfully. One information is added, right? Since SSN is a primary key, let me change that and name be Vikas. Let his age be 22 and he be having a salary of 52,000. Okay, two records are successfully inserted into this particular um, table. Let me also have one more. Insert into employee values. So let it be 03, name be Ratan, and then let his age be 30. Let he be having 70,000 salary. Right now, I want to create a view that holds information of all the employees whose age is greater than 25 years. Right? So, how do I do that? So, let me create view, say employee age. Okay, is less than 25. Just let me give some name to the view which corresponds to what information it stores, right? So create view as select star from EMP where age is greater than or equal to 25. So as a result, there has to be one employee whose age is greater than 25, which is Mr. Ratan. Right? So let me just see what now the view is created with this information. Now, if I want to check what are the entries in that view, I'll have to say select star from view name. What is the view name? EMP underscore age underscore 25. So this information I get here, right? So whatever your select statements are, right, its result will be stored as a view here, right? If you do not give where clause here, then all the details of the employee will be stored as a view here. Okay, so likewise, based on the requirement, you can write a select statement in such a way that the required information is fetched and is displayed or is stored as a view. Say quickly, let me show you how to create a view using two different tables. Okay, so for that I need one more table in my database. So quickly let me create that, called department. Create table department with department uh, number as varchar of 5, a primary key, and then I have department name varchar of 25, and then say department location, which is again varchar of some size. Okay, so the table created successfully. Let me also insert quickly certain values into it. Insert into department into, I forgot, right? Insert into department values. Insert into department values. The first value is the department number, say D1. Department name is finance. Then location is Mysore. So one row executed successfully. Then the second one, which is a HR department located in Bangalore. Again executed successfully. So now if I want to have information from both the tables, right? So let me just create a view, right? Who Okay, before that, let me just have a proper logical construction of the tables, right? Let me make these two tables relate, right? That is, let me just show you here. So let my employee schema and my department schema, right? This is my EMP, this is my DEPT, right? Let there be department number which references the department number of department table. Why am I doing this? So that I can have a proper logical join and some sensible data is retrieved and stored in my um, table, right? So for that reason I'm going to do this. Fine. So how do I add a foreign key reference? Now the first thing is my employee table do not have department number. I need to add that and also make it as a reference key, right? So how do I do that? I use alter table. For the syntax and explanation of how to create an or how to assign a foreign key attribute to the existing schema, you can also see another video called alter command, in which the detailed explanation of the command is given. Okay, so alter table, I have to alter employee to add a column over there, right? What that column is, it is department ID, right? Which is of varchar type, and its size is of 5, right? So this has to be same as that of your primary key on which it is referring, right? So var char of 5 references which table? Department table. On which one? Department number. That is the column on which it refers, right? So now successfully this has happened. Now I need to insert certain key values into this particular table. If you can see here, if I describe EMP now, you can see there is one more table, one more column that is added, department ID. And if I say select star from employee, you can observe that the department ID is null as of now, right? So let me just update this table to have certain values, right? Update table emp set did equal to 01, right? Let the depart not that D1, right? D1, which is finance department, where um, age less than equal to 25. Now it works. That is, for the employees who are with age less than 25, for them the department assigned is D1. Now if I quickly run through the select statement, you will observe it, right? These two person, Vikram and Vikas, are of age less than 25 and their departments are been assigned with D1. This is just a random condition that I have picked. You can take any condition of your choice for assigning the values, right? Similarly, let me run once again the update statement to update the last one, right? So now even that has happened. So all the uh-oh, all of them have got changed now. So let me just run this. Update table employees at department ID D1 where age is less than equal to. Okay, sorry. I should not be using the keyword table over here. That is the reason it is causing me a problem. Now, if I see select, the first two employees are given with D1 and the last employee is given with the D2, right? So now my data is available. Now, let me quickly create a view for the employees who are working for finance department alone, right? So, how do I do that? Create view employee of finance department, okay, as select say e dot uh, ssn, then e dot e name, and then d dot department number, right? These three things I'm going to fetch from both the tables here. The first one and the second one, two attributes are coming from employee, and department number is going to come from the department table. Okay, so now department number. Okay, where before where I should write from, right? From EMPE and department D, where E dot DID is equal to D dot DNum, and D dot department name is equal to finance. This is my select statement, right? So as per the requirement, you can write your select statement. Now the view is created. Let me now see the content of this view. What is the view name? EMP Sync. So the two employees who are working for the department D1, where D1 represents finance department. So that information is displayed to us now. Okay, you can see here D1 is with finance, right? So that is the reason these two information are being displayed to us. Similarly, if I insert or update or delete any of these three operations I am performing on view, then that reflection will happen in my source table, right? So whenever we are working with our operations on views, we should be careful about the anomalies that can arise during these operations. Which are those operations? Insertion, deletion, and updation. Right? Whenever you are inserting the values into the views, right, it may so happen that the source table for a particular attribute, it says it is not null constraint employed, and in your view you are not trying to give any value there and rather trying to push a null value, then there would be an error raised, right? And to an attribute to which you are specifying the value, the domain has to be checked, right? If the value that you are providing through view is falling under the right category of domain for that particular attribute, right? So likewise, there are various condition checks that are to be made in order to overcome the anomalies while performing the data manipulation operations. So all those things have to be kept in mind whenever you are working with your views, right? So now we saw how to create view, how to display the content of the view, and finally we will see how to drop a view. It's very simple. The drop DDL command is used to drop a view here, right? Drop view name you have to specify over here, right? So the view name that I'm going to drop here is EMP Think. So now if you try to display this, it says view does not exist, right? So you can also check how to perform certain operations on view and see how they are getting reflected on the source tables. But again, whenever you are doing that, keep in mind views that are created using joins, group by, having, or subqueries, they will not be able to update the source tables because of certain constraint violations that could occur, right? So all the time whenever you are updating views, it may not be successfully implemented on the source table until and unless you are taking care of all the constraints of the source table. Okay, so with this, I stop or conclude the content on views. Thank